Another video, and now we can actually see the data whatever was captured by the application discovery service. It's going well. It keeps collecting and then running, so the status keeps going from healthy to running. Every time we make some changes in the servers, or if I reconnect, some activity happens, it starts sending that all that information, how many times you logged in and everything. And the data that was fed into the S3 bucket is also populated now. It took some time, almost again half an hour. So these are the information that it's capturing: system performance, engine, process agent, what are the process running, operating system information, the network information, and everything else. If I open these folders, it shows the data that is stored as a Parquet file format. Parquet is one of the types, just like CSV, where you can run queries and then get the data out of it. So all that is getting captured is stored as a Parquet format. It's very popular and common data format. So like I said, now that we have the data, we need to run the queries using the AWS Athena service, right? So let's go to the Athena service console. Okay, so I can see the catalog and the database, the AWS application discovery service database, and it has all that 7 information that we found in the S3 are stored as 7 different tables, which is the Parquet tables. Now if you are a database administrator, I'm not, but if you know very well on how to run queries on the data that is stored or captured, you can do your own queries. Otherwise, I would suggest you to just take some sample queries from the workshop which we are using, and then we can actually run some sample queries. So let me just paste some of them, but before that I need to okay, manage browser S3. Okay, I'm just saving all these results or the queries that I'm running. I want it to be stored in the S3 buckets as well. Okay, so I want to capture the host names and the IP addresses. Let's say I have hundreds of them. I want to see how many are actually sending the data. So I just run. This is the query that I took from the workshop link. It's there. You can also go through it. Run the query. Okay, it says query successful, and it has actually created a small table which is called views. I will run the query. Okay, so these are the 4 servers which are sending the data of BizWeb, the host names of the 4 servers and the IP address, and you can also see the agent is installed on all the 4. So this is one sample query, and like this you can also run few other queries on CPU usage, memory usage, and many more. I'll also run one more sample query. So this is for the host names and the IP addresses. We'll run one more. This is actually for the performance, host name, host version, what is the disk space, and everything. Let's see if it throws up some error. Okay, even that's good. Okay, so it literally everything that I asked for on the number of CPUs, core, what's the CPU usage percentage, all that information from the system performance agent table is being pulled up, and you can also have a look at it. So it's kind of repeating because there are multiple information that's sent everywhere. Just remove the duplicates from this, and then you will see only 4 of it. Okay, and there's one more query that I'll just try to track the network activity. Okay, to check the communication between the servers. We'll run another separate query. Okay. I'll run the preview view. Okay, so it says source IP is 192.168.1.94. It is showing the communication between the servers, and if I check what is that 192, 194. It must be mine. Jump box is what I feel. Bastion. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's a different IP address, but which one is? Yeah. Okay. Offbase web. This is one server that is publicly exposed, is what it says. But technically, we should also see the offbase web also, because that was also publicly exposed. But maybe the information is still not completely fed into this system from the offbase web server. So like this, you can have as many queries you want, because the data is in Parquet, and it's actually creating an automated database here in the backend. So you just, from all these tables, as much as information that you want, you can keep pulling it. So preview table, yeah, OS info. And then if you want network agent, if they're installed. So all that information about your network, IP address, IP ranges, gateway IP, all that information keeps coming up through the SQL query, and it makes our life much easier, because I have right in front of me, just create queries, keep running it and execute it, so you get all the relevant information that you're actually looking for. Okay, that's on Athena. And number two, in the migration hub or in the discovery phase itself, there's another beautiful service. If I go to the data collectors and agents, you can see these 4 servers are still collecting, right? There is now like they're not hyperlinks, and they'll take some time. It will keep coming up. But there's an option called application. Application is not the app that we're talking about, like the WordPress app or the Office app. This is a terminology that they use to group the servers. So for example, I can create an application called WordPress, and then I just create this, and here I can go ahead and add the servers which are related to the WordPress servers alone, like WordPress web and WordPress DB. So this will help me if I want to fail over only these 2 servers. Maybe I'll have 100 servers. I just want to test if my WordPress applications are working fine. So if I want to do it, I can do it through this, and then I can just go ahead and add it to the application. Likewise, I can go ahead and add another application called my AD servers. If I have some servers in my AD cluster, you can go ahead and add those servers as well. Okay, so this is another useful option. And look at it. If I select these 4 servers, and I also have an option called visualize network. This is also a very useful service. Visualize network is something that you can actually use to check which server is communicating to which one. Okay, so this actually helps you to see the dependencies. That I grouped the WordPress servers as an application, right? So if I want to see which WordPress server is talking to which one, and all that communication part, you can actually see it. And the 4 servers that I selected are highlighted in orange. And if I just select the server, what I've selected is WordPress web, and in the WordPress web there is communication allowed from 22 and 80. So if I select 80, it says that you have communication from 2 other servers. And if I select port 22, the 22 is accessible from the other 3 servers. And likewise, if I go for my, is it a DB server? Yeah, Office DB. You can see I selected 5432. I'm highlighting or hovering on the 5432. You can the only line that gets highlighted, or if I just zoom in, I selected 5432. There is the communication is only from Office web, this server. I just place the mouse, and you can see there is only one line that gets highlighted. So likewise, if I go for WordPress DB also, it would look something similar like this. See the WordPress DB, the arrow points from the WordPress web only. So now I know, okay, these 2 servers are something that are dependent on each other. If I'm failing over or if I'm migrating, I have to do it together. 3306 is the DB port of MySQL. I place the mouse on that, and it says there is only one line that goes from the DB server to the WordPress DB, like WordPress web to WordPress DB. Everything else is grayed out except that one server. If I say 22, then you have multiple other connections. So this is also a very useful service. using which we can establish the connectivity or know which server is dependent on which one. And then comes a very, very important option called EC2 instance recommendations. The data that it is capturing currently, the longer you run, the better the accurate would be. So I need to know the cost, right? How much it's costing me to host it on AWS, and what are the recommended sizings that AWS tells me. So with the data that is captured, we can go to the EC2 recommendation sizes and select I want the average utilization for those 4 servers, and this is the region I'm going to be hosting it in, Oregon, because that's where I'm migrating all my data to. And I'll want the on-demand pricing for shared tenancy. I can just export this recommendation. It downloads Excel sheet in a CSV file, and it gives me this sheet. It has, I think, 6 servers or 7 servers, because even the 4 what we have, as well as some of the servers that I previously did, was also there. And you can see the server name, operating system version, how many CPUs, what's the recommended EC2 sizing, and and then finally you have the column P that talks about recommendation of EC2 model. So for this server, we recommend using T2 small, T3 nano, T3 medium, T3 micro. And there is one server which is not even sending any data, so it's blank. So this is a very, very useful tool. With this, now you can prepare your AWS costing. So 4 servers we need. These are the 4 servers, and what's my CPU usage, what's my RAM usage. Based on that, you can prepare a bill of material and submit it to your business. Okay, so that's also another very useful thing that you got to do as part of your discovery. So we are done with it. So technically in this video we just covered what is AWS Athena, and then EC2 recommendations tab, and we also saw network visualizations. And what else did we also ran some queries, and we explored some data that is there in S3 as Pocket. So this is the discovery part. Now that after the discovery, we got information about the network dependencies, we got the cost recommendations, as well as we have all the necessary information about our source. So then what's the next step? Obviously the migration part. So the first phase is completed, and we've also done the mobilize, because after the SS it is supposed to be mobilized, right? So what do we do in mobilize? Business case, the TCO calculation and so on, prepare the landing zone, migration readiness. That's not something that we need to do, because as per the CloudFormation template, the source, target, everything is already created. Otherwise you will have to manually create it now, but since we used a template that literally created the whole infrastructure, we can skip this mobilize part. Now let's go to the next one, which is the migrate and modernize. We'll see later. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video, and we can start the migration. Thank you.